Meeting stones, or summon stones as they're more commonly known, didn't actually work as a means of summoning players until the Burning Crusade. This means that for all of Classic, the only way to summon party members to a dungeon was to do it the old-fashioned way, aka bring a warlock and two friends. But I'm going to take this time to tell you why these stones should stay the way they were in Classic, even if it means that they will be, once again, useless. We all know these bulky, rune-marked monoliths that are placed outside all the dungeons in Classic WoW, but many of you might not know that the original purpose of these was to allow players to queue for a single dungeon. And this would allow you to group with other players who also use the meeting stone for that same exclusive dungeon. Spoiler alert, they never worked as intended, and nobody used these. Players instead opted to travel to cities or local chats and ask around, looking for more Razorfin Crawl or something along those lines. Even if you did manage to find a group using the meeting stones, your entire party still had to travel to the dungeon. You couldn't summon someone with the summon stone. These stones went through a few revisions through vanilla, but this uselessness persisted all the way through patch 1.12, where the summoning ability was implemented, but still didn't actually work. It wasn't until the Burning Crusade pre-patch that these stones were finally made useful. I can see an argument made that meeting stones should work as intended in 12.1 and should be used for summoning party members, but here's a few reasons why making meeting stones useful would take away from the core game. First is communication. You've heard it 100 times. Classic WoW has community, but players only say that because it's true. Classic WoW has a community, and one of the most common ways to meet new players is through finding groups in local and trade chat. We've all done it. You ask around for that group, you meet that weird but funny dwarf priest that healed, you remember that guy. Then, 10 levels later, you see him on the road fighting mob and help out, maybe chat with him. This is hypothetical, but you start making a reputation for yourself when you group for dungeons, and having to communicate to form those groups is a core part of that experience. Simply put, the old meeting stone system is a way to highlight the better social aspects of Classic WoW. The next thing that would be cut out is travel. If you play Alliance and want to get to Shadowfang Keep, you have quite a long journey ahead of you. From Ironforge through Wetlands, to the Arathi Highlands, through the Hillsbad Foothills, into Horde territory of Silverpine Forest, and then down to Shadowfang Keep. Horde, if you want to do Blackrock Depths, you need to get the Kargoth flight path and have nearly an equally long journey ahead of you. Wouldn't it be easier if you could just teleport to these dungeons, or at least have a friend who already has the flight paths necessary to summon you? Yes, it would be convenient, and you can do that if one of your friends is a warlock, but by removing the journey, you're missing out on so much of the game. The players you might find, new areas, new creatures, will all be missed because of a temporary convenience. It'll make the world feel so much smaller, and that's one of the biggest turnoffs of retail WoW, is they've all but removed the need to explore and travel, all in exchange for the abilities to fly and teleport wherever you need to go with virtually no time needed to get there. Next is exclusivity. Now, I know this is going to sound pretty elitist. Exclusive means casual players will suffer and hardcore players will thrive, right? Well, not necessarily. When you make dungeons a more casual experience by not requiring players to travel to them or communicate to get into them, you water down the experience of doing that dungeon. All the items, like that Corpse Maker axe you worked so hard for, become less valuable and less rare because more people have them. There is a fine line between rare and obtainable, and without the meeting stones, Classic WoW reaches this. So for summer 2019, let's have Classic WoW be a game about the experience, the journey, and the community. Let's have those meeting stones stay useless. Well friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. World of Warcraft is actually just one of my passions. The other one is writing, and I've actually got a full-length novel right now that's close to being ready to publish. Now, it's not a Warcraft novel, though I wish I had the legal rights to publish something like that, but it is a high-stakes tale about a group of tribal hunters that are being pursued by a frightening beast that comes after them at night. So if you'd like to see this thrilling fight-or-flight novel come to life, then you're welcome to check out the Kickstarter I created. The link is in the description below. However, if you can't or just don't want to, that's okay too. I'm just happy to have you here, and other than that, I will see you guys next time.